I got that animal ambition. I got that animal ambition. I got that. What's up, y'all? Smoak here. What's good? In this video, I'm gonna be watching Things That Will Get You in Trouble in WWE by Maven Hoffman. As many of you know, Maven is a former WWE superstar. He just recently got a YouTube channel, like 8 months ago or something. It was sometime this year, I believe. And he got so big so quickly, only because of his status as an entertainer back in the day in the WWE. But with his personality, it's all rewarded, so that's cool. He's shown on camera at least. I hope he is like this off screen too. He seemed like a very nice dude, very genuine, very grateful. All positive, little negative. So that's cool. I only reacted to one of his videos, but yeah, he commented on it. It was either him or his PR team, whatever. Bottom line, I see Maven Hoffman commented like, "Hey, cool stuff. Appreciate the love," something between those lines. So that was cool. So yeah, let's take a watch of this video.
Hey guys, Maven here. Now, WWE is like a normal job, but then again, it's not. There's a myriad of things that can get you in trouble, not only with the office, but with the boys. And I know what you're saying. Maven, you've already did the unwritten rules. Trust me, this is completely different. And one of these things almost led to me being released unceremoniously years before my eventual firing for one small mistake. So here we go. All the things that can get you in trouble in the WWE. Now, the first thing that can get you in trouble in the WWE is going to the athletic trainer. I don't know how it is today, but during my time, we had one trainer for everyone that was.
Bro, that's wild. What the hell? Matter of fact, that was pro sports in general. From what I know of, I remember back then, I mean, not back then, but I'd be reading books from like the 80s. I'm like reading like Michael Jordan books, Phil Jackson books. They talk about like the 80s, even 90s. They had like one trainer, bro. It was crazy. For the whole team. So then you got like 12 guys. At least 8 guys that play really. And you got like at least 5 that play the heavy load. Like, or 3 that play the heavy load. So just relying on that one trainer is pretty tough. Now you got like the whole 9. Gotta love evolution, man.
On the show. And poor Chris Joseph, he had a lot of men and women to work on. There was a time that Bradshaw went to go get his treatment done, and an unsigned talent, someone who was going to be wrestling later on in a dark match, he was laying on the table. Now, did he have the right to be there? Of course, but not, and I mean not, when a guy who was going to be in a main event match needed to get treatment done. I know this sounds archaic, and I know you're saying everyone has the right to be there, but know your place. We would get to the show, like I've told you before, at 1 o'clock. By 1:30, 2 o'clock, we were done with catering. I immediately then would go to the trainer, get whatever I needed done. And usually for me, it meant taping my ankles, maybe taping my wrists. And then I would start getting dressed. So by 2:30, I was already in my wrestling trunks, wrestling gear, wrestling boots, and already taped up, and would be like that for the next 10 or 11 hours. But it was way better than being in a line that was 5 or 6 deep, in a line that included The Rock, Undertaker, Hunter, because these are main event guys, and I knew my place, and I knew that I wanted to get in and out as quickly as possible. So what would happen if I was in line, or maybe about to sit down on the table, and I saw someone walk in who took top priority, someone who had top billing over me? Well, I would conveniently remember something that I had to do in the locker room, maybe down at the ring, maybe, oh, I forgot I'm supposed to meet with Arn to go over a match, or I have to go meet up with so-and-so who I'm working, and excuse myself, making room for them to come in and get the treatment they needed, and obviously, show respect to those people who, for lack of a better term, gave me my chance. Now, when JBL was forced to wait while an enhancement talent was getting his hamstrings worked on, he didn't really say much, but he did make it beknownst that someone was, taking a time slot that was probably better suited for him. His
yeah, of course,
joking manner and his joking attitude was screaming.
For many of you know, there's like been stories circulated about JBL's bullying habit back in the day. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Likely based on past wrestlers' statement of their experience with him and stuff.
Get off that damn. And his joking attitude was screaming, get off that damn table. And on a similar topic, WWE had hair and makeup, and just like the athletic trainer, they only had one during my time. Now I'm letting you into all the secrets because this is when I learned how to put my makeup on so smooth and do my eyebrows that you all love so much. When I would go to hair and makeup, it might take me 5 minutes.
Yo, it's funny too, cause his eyebrow be like the highlight of his face, bro. You can't hate on it, cause it look pretty smooth. I ain't gonna hold you.
Minutes to that you all love so much. When I would go to hair and makeup, it might take me 5 minutes to get my eyebrows done because that's all I was getting done. There was one instance where I was getting my eyebrows done. Again, 5-minute task. And Billy Gunn walks in, sees me sitting in the table, and I believe he was about to get his eyebrows done at the same time. And he yells out and just like, "Geez, Maven." And he was kidding. I 100% know he was kidding, but he also wasn't kidding. Again, the first thing that can get you in trouble, the training room and the makeup artist. Just know your position on the card. Know who has top billing. Know who the top men and women are. And if you're not one of them, go at better times. And for the number 2 thing that can get you in trouble at a WWE show, bringing friends and family to the arena and backstage. I know what you're saying. Everyone should be able to bring their friends and family, but think about it this way. Do you take your friends, do you take your family to your job? In essence, that's where we are at. We're at work during those hours, but
Yeah.
I also know we have a cool job, and it's one of those jobs that you want to show off. But in my time, there were specific times to do that, and usually that was a WrestleMania, maybe a Survivor Series, one of those big pay-per-views. I've talked about my lack of being at the ring plenty of times, but that wasn't every time, and there was plenty of times I was at the ring, and I remember the agents, especially Dean Malenko and Arn Anderson. They were great.
As a side note, I'm recording this on a Friday, December 22. Word got out, I don't know how long ago it has been, the report. They said Dean Malenko had underwent brain surgery for Parkinson's disease. So yeah, prayers up.
At making sure the people who were around that ring and in the stands were the people that were supposed to be there. And you could always tell when someone wasn't supposed to be there because they were studying what they saw in the ring. A lot of times if guys had kids, they would bring their kids in, but it wasn't for terribly long. Usually it was to come, say hi to everybody, get some hugs, and then they would be back in their place. Now, once you leave the ring area and you go backstage, during my time, and I'm assuming it's still like that now, the locker room itself was off limits. Friends and family could hang out, usually by the monitor, because that's where everyone congregated. But, you know, you don't want to have too many looky-loos, you know, gazing into a WWE locker room. Why? Because that's where guys keep all of their valuables. The WWE locker room it was our sacred place, and it just wasn't a place for friends and family. They could wait outside, they could wait by the monitor, but the locker room was most definitely off limits. So when you did have friends and family there, what was protocol? Well, we had a pretty good security team that would have lanyards and backstage credentials, and it wasn't difficult to get them. All you had to do was ask. When I was there, I only had my mom there at one show and one show only. It was in Charlottesville, Virginia, and everyone was so accommodating for her at the time. She was pretty ill when she came to this show.
R.I.P. to Maven's mom and Umaga, who's in that pic.
Had to do was ask security. They gave me her credentials, and then she was backstage and she was able to actually meet a lot of these guys that she had been talking to on the phone during my travels. Now, how would you actually get in trouble for having friends and family backstage? If that person's significant other, if that person's kid is being a nuisance, then it's going to rub people the wrong way. Most all my experiences, it was handled well, but occasionally you would see family members backstage and just meandering around in areas they weren't supposed to. They keep that backstage area well mapped out. I mean, literal arrows pointing to the different locations you might be using. It's impossible to say you wandered into an area you weren't supposed to be. And you don't want your friends, you don't want your family to be the people that are being removed. And on a similar note, actually getting free tickets could land you in hot water and get you in trouble backstage. Now, how do you get tickets to a WWE show? What you would do is you would go up, and for me, I would always go to one of the agents, maybe Arn Anderson when we were doing non-televised events, or I would go to a Howard Finkel, someone who could get my request processed and taken care of. And they would put them on what's called will call. Now, whenever someone would go to will call, it was a simple process. There was rarely a line at will call, and all they had to do was show their ID, and as long as the name matched the ID, free tickets were theirs. But guys would take advantage of that. I know I actually got in trouble for it once. Okay, I'm
not surprised considering he's a,
one time on a flight, and
he was green as hell, so it's understandable.
And this flight had an unusual amount of hot women on it. And what I found out were these were girls that were going to, I believe it was a Barbizon modeling convention in the same town. And just my luck, they were free that night. Fast forward, later on, I get to the arena, get to it, and it's a non-televised show, so we have plenty of seats available. But I remember going up to Arn Anderson and explaining to him, I was like, hey, Arn, I need 12 comps for the night. I need 12 tickets. And Arn looked at me and he was like, May, 12? No one has that many family members coming to a house show, to a non-televised event.
Yeah, you just
for
hold
the
yourself.
night. But once I explained to him that they were all Barbizon models, he was quick to oblige. He said, no problem, turned around and filled the request. You wanted to do that, but you didn't want to be the person that was overdoing it. You didn't want to be the person that was asking.
I respect Arn for that, bro. Real talk. He's looking out for a brother. And for himself, I guess.
Every show. A couple times I would get looked at side eye, if I'm asking for 2 or 3 comps each and every show. It happened, but use it sparingly. And for our number 3 mistake that will get you in trouble. Now, this one won't land you in trouble with the office, but it will land you in trouble with the boys. And that is finishing a loop out with the person you start with. Let me take you back to, I think it was around 2002, 2003-ish. And for whatever reason, when I was riding with Devon, he was off the first night of a show. And I jumped in the car with Raven. So down the road, you had Maven and Raven, hell of a tag team, going to the first show. We did the first show the first night, we got our hotel, and then the next day we rode to our next town. Now at that town, Devon showed up, and when Devon showed up, I immediately thought, well, I usually ride with Devon, why would I not jump in his car? But Raven educated me that when you start a loop with someone, make sure you're finishing the loop. Why is that? Because when you're on the road, you're splitting expenses. Gas is not free. Car rentals are not free. And it's just unfair to the person that you begin that loop with financially to not go ahead and see the loop through. Raven educated me on that. He wasn't mad when he told me. He was pretty much just telling me, hey, when you start a loop with someone, make sure you finish it. And it was a lesson I learned and a mistake I never made again. I'm thankful he taught me. And for the 4th thing that can land.
Gotta help a brother out. You know what I mean? No hazing, no bullying there. It was just like, hey, yo, did this and that. Don't want you to get in trouble. All right, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Could be so simple.
And you in trouble in the WWE. Excuses. Now, excuses, no one likes them. No one wants to hear them. But in the WWE, I actually saw someone be fired for making excuses. The most common excuse a wrestler might make would be during a match. Maybe someone that you're working isn't up to your level. Maybe someone just had a bad night. I know when I first started, I wasn't on the level of anybody I worked, but I never heard anyone bury me. I never heard anyone go to an agent, go to anyone backstage and say, I did my job, he is the one that sucked tonight. Because honestly, the monitor doesn't lie. If someone has a bad night, if someone's not on your level, everyone's going to know anyway. No one wants to be the reason that a match goes bad, but also no one wants to hear an excuse as to why a match might have went bad. Just take your medicine, own your baggage, and say, I should have did this better, or maybe I could have done this better. There was actually one time that an excuse got someone fired. So let me set the scene for you. It was a TV taping like all others, and it wasn't often that Vince would call everyone together for a full talent meeting. So when we were all gathered there was a hush, there was a quiet, waiting to hear exactly what was on his mind, because something was setting him off. And we didn't notice it at that moment, but there was a fellow wrestler who was absent from that meeting, and Vince let everyone know this person was absent because not only were they late, but then they made the excuse that they did not get a wake-up call. And Vince made the statement, if you're trusting someone who is working a minimum wage job to get you to your place of employment on time, you're not the person I want in this company. Trust me, his point was made. Everybody left that meeting with a little bit more desire to make sure that anywhere we had to be, we weren't just going to be on time. Hell, we were going to be early. And for the fifth, the last thing that can get you in trouble in the WWE, and I nearly found myself on the axe heap for this very, very thing, is asking for time off. I know. Time off is not something you want in this business, because trust me, if you're not on a show, if you're not on that television screen, someone else is. And that someone may make them forget about you quicker. But there is a way around that. And it becomes very easy to ask for time off.
Now, this is a side note, and this involves the upcoming Royal Rumble. He said, as he said, you're not allowed to ask for time off. It's a wrestling business. It's like 52 weeks a year. Recently, Sami Zayn got time off. He got out with an injury angle involving Drew McIntyre, who kayfabe injured his ankle. Sami Zayn winning the Rumble this year in January is confirmed, y'all. Remember that.
While staying on WWE programming. How is that done? Only asking for time off during non-televised events. It becomes easy to only want to do the Raw and SmackDown, to do the televised events, to do the events where 20+ million people are watching you. And it becomes extremely tempting to want to miss those non-televised, those house show dates. I got myself in this trouble. Now, I don't want to act like you can never ask for time off. In fact, what got me in trouble is because I did it one too many times. Early in my career, I would say around 2003-ish, going into 2004, I needed time off to be in a wedding. And I just wasn't in the wedding. I was the best man in the wedding. So I went to the office and I told them I was in this wedding, and the dates can't be moved, but the wedding is on a Saturday. So you do the wedding, and I can be to wherever Monday Night Raw was going to be by Monday. They agreed, said, okay, no problem. And I was left off the loop and flew in just to do Raw. Well, I realized quickly that that was a great schedule, and I understood why some people like a Goldberg would get heat when they were only doing television tapings, because it was fantastic only being gone for 2 days. But that's A, that's not how you learn, and B, that's not how you help the entire company. So after I took my time off for the wedding I was in, I then get a notification that my 10-year high school reunion was coming up. So I go to the same guy I asked for the wedding off and told him I needed another loop off to go to my high school reunion. To which he then looked at me, asked me, Maven, do you get paid to go to your high school reunion? I looked at him and said, no, I do not. And he said, well, you don't have the time off. Be at the show. And I could tell by the tone in his voice and the seriousness in his response that he was none too pleased with me asking for another weekend off. And I made it a point to never, ever ask for time off.
And this is normal behavior too. I bet Maven was like, when he was approaching this person in the office or whatever, he felt anxious inside and said, damn, I called out for this wedding. Now I gotta ask for this time off for the high school reunion. Me, man, a wedding's a wedding and you're the best man, as he said. High school reunion? I don't know. See you in the next reunion, buddy, I guess. I'm a WWE superstar, bro. I can't afford to miss this. You know what I mean? Wedding, high school reunion. Come on, y'all.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that WWE is ruling with an iron fist.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you're right and you're wrong. Fast forward about a year after I asked for time off for my high school reunion, I found that my mom was nearing the end of her life, and she was in the hospital for, I think it was about 80 days in a row. And I went to the office, and I didn't even ask for time off at this point. I just told them, you know, what was going on, and I told them that she was extremely ill, and they actually sent me home, and they told me to be with her. And the checks came every week. They never rushed me back. They would call simply to check to see how I was doing, to see how she was doing, and to see if there was anything I needed. So, in retrospect, do they want you missing time for frivolous reasons? Of course not.
Yeah.
But when the rubber met the road and when they saw life was in the balance, they gave me all the time I needed.
Of course.
Now, these aren't the
that's your loved one
that
right
could
there.
land you in hot water in the WWE. In fact, there might be a list of unwritten rules you're not even aware of. For that video, click the link.
Nah, that was a cool fit. Yeah, I like Maven content, man. He's such a cool character, bro. List of stuff that he mentioned. Of course, guys have leeway, like main eventers, obviously. I remember Randy Orton, WrestleMania, I don't know what this was, 21 maybe? Yeah, it was 21. Randy Orton didn't make it to rehearsal. He overslept or whatever he was doing. And, you know, Randy, I guess when he got there, he felt bad. But I don't know if people made any fuss about it. Undertaker surely didn't. And it's the Undertaker. Like, he's the top guy. You know what I mean? And not just, you know, sports entertainment. That's just jobs in general. Careers and stuff. If you haven't already, subscribe to this guy, Maven Hoffman. He really is worth to watch if you are a wrestling fan. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace, I'm out.